Hey everyone, Melissa here with The Creative Season. I have re-uploaded this video. I realized, thank you for those who let me know that the end was cut off, so it's been re-uploaded, and this is the final picture of our fields of flowers. I'm actually going to be redoing this probably towards the end of the year. This one was very, very small, but I wanted to show you how it turned out, but just let you know it's 6 inches by about 5 inches. Of course, when we tape it down, it gets a little bit smaller, and I will say as you create this painting, what you want to make sure is we're really drawing it between every single layer, because as you can see, it can really start to get a bit tendency towards muddiness if we're not careful. So you can see too where I was really intentional about only mixing colors that I knew would play well together, and even with the red and the blue has a tendency to go brown if they blend. So just be aware of that as you create your own beautiful splattered field of flowers. It is so fulfilling and fun, but patience is the name of the game. It's actually pretty ideal though if you don't have a lot of time and you're just doing a little bit here and a little bit there. You know, leave this tape down. Make sure you've taped it down with masking tape. You know, not using too big of a brush. I think this is a size 6, and so this is going to work out very, very nicely for this kind of splatter art, and it really is a lot of fun. So watch the video, enjoy, and let me know what you think, and let me know too if you'd like to see it on a bigger, a 9x12 or a more standard size of watercolor paper. A bigger size will have some other challenges, but I think it could be a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, welcome. We are going to be painting a small splatter art, a field of flowers. So this is going to be, I'm going to be utilizing a lot of splattering, and we're going to be grab another piece of watercolor paper or a magazine or something, because we're going to be covering up parts of the painting while we work on other parts. So the splattering is a little bit more controlled. I've got my colors that are going to be the primary colors I'm using. So this time I'm going to be using a phthalo blue. This is kind of a brighter blue, a cerulean blue, which is like a light sky blue. I am going to use a green, a Hooker's Green Light, which is going to give me that cool color I'm looking for, a cadmium yellow light, and permanent rose, or I'm sorry, phthalo crimson is this one, or permanent, another one if you have a permanent rose, that'll work. If you have alizarin crimson, that's going to be more of a maroon, but that will work. But these are the colors that I'm using. You really, again, we're going to be using a darker blue, a brighter, this is a bright blue, a sky blue, a green, some sort of pink or red if you like a red, and then a yellow. So those are the main ones, and as I use others, I'll incorporate those in and let you know. So I'm just going to move this off to the side. I have cleaned up my water palette, my paint palette, because it was getting a little bit messy. So I'm just going to move this over here so you can see that. So you can always see the stain a bit, but I had a lot of different colors mixed on there. So this is a cerulean blue, and I'm going to go ahead, and you see it's quite light versus the, see how deep and beautiful that phthalo blue is. I just love it, but it is a very intense blue. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to come backing up over here. I'm going to take this part. I don't want any blue in my sky. Also with landscapes, you want to make sure the horizon line, it's more pleasing in the eye if it's not in the middle. So either have a lot of sky or not as much sky. So we're going to do not as much sky in this particular one. And I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way down. And I'm going to do very loosely, I'm going to run that brush over. If you have a flat brush, such as this one, you can grab that too. And again, fill it with some water, a little bit of that blue, hold it down. You could always tape it down as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my brushes, I'm going to take some of the darker blue, and I'm just going to start splattering. This is going to be lots and lots and lots of splattering, and it's pretty wet, so you notice the splattering is just going everywhere, which is great, which is fun. I kind of want it to do that to get that sky look. There's not usually dots in the sky, but the clouds move, right? And so we're kind of creating the idea of wispy clouds. Okay, great. And I'm just going to leave it like that, looking like the sky's moving. Just very gently lift up, You'll have a mark there, and really the line doesn't need to be exact. We're going to end up, probably the flowers will end up going into our sky just a bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go down here. I'm going to just gently, very, very gently lay it over. And yep, a little of the paint will get off, but I'm not too concerned about this. Remember, this is very loose, very easy. This is in preparation for a larger landscape painting that we're going to do later. So go ahead and get your green ready. And this Hooker's green, it is a little, it's a pretty intense green, the Hooker's green light. We can always add a little bit of blue to it if it looks a little bit too warm, because our blues are, that's what the phthalo blue especially is, a cool blue. All right, and I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to start doing some splattering, nice and big. I'm also going to lightly go in there, add a little bit more water to lighten up the splattering. I'm going to take this down here, just go through like this. I'm actually going to decide, I'm going to actually go over like this. You can see I'm doing, keep this very, very light. Okay, perfect. We're going to let that dry for a minute. So what we're going to do is we kind of just establish, obviously I've just knocked off all my splattering, but that's fine. We're going to go in as this dries. What I don't want in this particular one is I don't want a lot of white left. I've got a little bit lighter, a little bit of white back here, but it's sometimes when you're doing a field of flowers, if you have too much white in the field, that looks a little bit odd. So I'm going to go back over here now, and I'm going to let that dry. If you have a blow dryer and you really want to hurry this up, you certainly can take a blow dryer and blow dry that off. If you feel like you have too much water, because I don't want too much, or you just want it a little bit white, you can take a paper towel and lift up some of the paint. And I'm going to do that now, because really I just don't want a pure white. And it's okay that this is kind of, you know, making uneven marks. That's totally fine. I just didn't want a pure white background for this particular one. All right. Great, so now it's mostly dry so that my paint, and you can see a little paint on there, is not going to stick too much. So now what I'm going to start doing is I am going to take one of my brushes, and I'm going to take, this is a smaller painting. This was a random piece of paper I had, so we're looking at probably, I'd have to grab a ruler right here, but this is just to give you some reference size. This is about 7 inches in length and 4 inches vertical, so not too big. All right, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get some of that pink, and I'm going to start just tapping along. And I think in this particular meadow, we're going to have sections, and see how I forgot to cover that up? My sky. So if you do that, just dab it. We'll come back later. You're not ruining anything, so don't get excited or upset. Come back over here. Okay, and it might be too, and I'm just thinking about this now so don't get any of my sky, that for now, I might just tape this down. I can tape that down. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. I might just put a piece of tape right there, just to delineate that. There we go. We're doing something a little bit different today. Okay, so here we go, continuing on. Now there was my pink right there, but maybe with that yellow, you know what I want to do is we have a field of flowers, but it's not evenly distributed. So there's some yellow over here. Now I want to make a really nice, kind of an orange. I'm going to take some of that permanent pink, and I am going to take, put it in the corner here. I'll go over, show you how I'm mixing the colors. I'm going to add some of that yellow. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that nice? I'm going to just take a little bit more of that pink. Now, notice too, this particular color, it's more opaque because of the yellow. So when I go ahead, this is going to be bold. When I go ahead and start splattering this orange, and that is a nice, oops, and let me move this back over here. Look at that. And we're just splattering right now. We're not worried about, oh, that's lovely. This is an entire field of flowers. So think too, if you look out at a field, it's often concentrated, right? All right, so go back to some pink. Maybe I'll do some pink up here in the fork. We will make these, give them a little bit more shape and form, but for right now, we're simply splattering. We're really having fun. I'm keeping the brush pretty close to the paper. All right, so we've got pink there. Now, that that phthalo blue, I'm gonna move some of that blue with the pink, and I'm gonna do that, so I'm gonna go back over here to my colors. I put some blue right there in the corner. And you can start to see how the paint palette gets so messy, right? Rinse out your brush really well. Grab some pink. Mix it over here. And sometimes I'll just go up here just to see. Oh, that's actually it's pretty, isn't it? So even with a little pink, you almost get that deep. Oh, that's nice. Now if I put that blue into the pink, it will just go everywhere. So I'm going to take a brush that's a little bit cleaner, dab it in the pink, and then mix it over there. It's like you're making a recipe. Yeah, and that phthalo blue is pretty powerful. So you're gonna have to add a lot of pink to really get. Okay, but that's nice. Now if you don't like it, or if you do like it, you just keep adding color. Keep adding color this way. Oh, I think I'm getting a little yellow in there that's creeping over, but that's okay. Okay, but I like that color because, and I'm thinking of feel too, if it's all bright colors, there's not a lot of depth. So we're gonna need to do some, I just want maybe right in the middle of my field. And if I want them bigger, the bigger flowers are gonna be closer, right? Because we can see them clearer. All right, now we have to be cognizant that there we go. These splatters can start melding into each other, which is why I'm trying to be a little bit controlled in where I'm putting them. So maybe even go like there. If I want to do a little bit, oh yeah, that's pretty. Now maybe two. I want some more pink right over there. Nice, okay. And then we can come over here. Okay, so now as we look here, looking at our field, looking at I want to get more up here, so maybe even I'm going to go with my lighter yellow, and we're just going to start tapping, tap, 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 all in the back, just a nice layer. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of that yellow, and over here, I'm just going to start forming some flowers just like we did with the lupines. Now as they're farther back, we're just not going to be able to see them, right? So we'll do more of but if they're up close, we can give them a little bit more form. And even doing this, it just starts to, right? Okay, just a little bit. Now we're leaving this space right in here empty for now. We're going to come back in, we're going to put some more greenery in there. Just using some dots in here and up here. Maybe these are poppies. Just playing with an idea here. We can make our own wherever you live, your favorite flowers. Yeah, maybe they are. Some lovely poppies. Okay. Now maybe there's more lupines, so I'm going to grab some more of that purpley blue. That's very deep blue. Now I'm going to grab some of and right in here, isn't that a beautiful blue? I just love that. It's really an eye pop of color. And it blends in so nicely. So again, very light and loose. Okay. And we're just leaving the background all splatters. Now we've got the pink over here, and you know what? I'm just gonna do up here. I'm gonna kind of just let my imagination play here. Really, I'm using a pretty small brush. It's a size 4 round. I believe it's a size, yes. 2 would work well too. Now again, when we add the green, we're going to give them some more depth. Okay, so give that a second to dry. And kind of stand back and see how that's looking. Now what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to go ahead and cover. Actually, we're going to do some stems while this continues to dry. So pick up some green now. I'm going to just start putting that in. And just very light. I'm hardly even touching sometimes. If you want this part too, I was going to do a little bit more. If you want to go in farther in the back, just a few, not a lot, just a couple, just to kind of show. I'm going to put some green dots back there. Now how can we make it seem like the stems are closer, the ones that are in the forefront? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of blue to that green to create more of a depth. Remember too, the brain's going to fill in detail, so we don't have to be concerned about getting every little detail. The brain's going to do that. We want to create the essence with splatter art. We're just creating the essence, so I'm going to, that deep really gives us, that darker color in the foreground really gives it helps us to create depth. We want it to look as if you're looking out on the field. And with the sky, the way we did that, almost looks like it's a bit of a windy day. I'm just going to put a little bit in here. Just go up, up, up with little up motions, barely touching. It's okay that the paint kind of fades into it. That's going to help with the depth too. Lovely. It's really showing just that field of flowers. We're going to come through again and do another layer. Okay, now what I want you to do is take off this tape. And now I want you to start going into the skyline back here a little bit too with your green. Just a little bit. And if it feels a bit bold, and that does, just go like this and let them kind of blend. I just want that to blend out a bit. Where the sky, it's not usually, unless you're looking out. You know, I think when I was in Texas, you really could, I mean, there was just land and it was just flat, so you could see it. But many times if there's hills, it's rolling, it's not a flat area where the sky meets the land. So you see how I drew up the paint just a little bit and then let that line go very soft. So we're creating now, this looks like the shadows of the back, just a light loose hills. It's really starting to come together, isn't it? But we need to put some more color down in there. I'm going to want some more color in here too. I'm going to put just a bit more green. And in here just a little bit. Okay, lovely. I really am liking that. I'm going to put some more right over here too. Okay, lovely. Now we're going to go back in. I'm going to grab some of that bright blue. I am going to go ahead and cover this up so I don't get too much in the sky. And I am going to also take paper towels, because I don't want too much over here, and just do a nice light splatter. Splatter, splatter, splatter. Lovely. And then a little bit more. And I'm using a small brush because I want those splatters now to be very, very small. So especially if they get in the background, it looks like we're looking at them far away. The ones in the front, it's not going to matter quite so much. I'm going to put that paper towel very lightly just so I don't smash anything. Okay. First I thought I was running out of battery here on the camera. It's sending me a blinking signal. Okay, and I'm going to move this up just a little bit. Again, I want splatters, but I want them lighter. I'm going to add a little bit of water. No more paint, but just water to that brush. And so I'm just getting some light splatters up there. Great. And then I'm going to get a little bit of that blue and the pink, just a little bit. Just it might have been a bit much, but that's okay. Just a little bit on the bottom of this with the shadows. Again, we aren't even painting flowers. We're using light and splatters and color and a little bit of depth and to create this beautiful, beautiful, lovely, lovely, lovely. Isn't this gorgeous? Okay, I am really, really loving this. I think I would like to go and spend some time walking through this garden. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So we're going to go through here, and I'm not so much worried about the yellow. Yellow getting everywhere. Add some more water there. Great. Take that orange and just a little bit. Letting those splatters get crazy. Remember, it's watercolor, so if you get splatters of paint, just a little bit on the blue because it's so nice. If you get a little bit of water on your clothes or the paint on your clothes, it'll wash off.